Do you find it hard to live under your means? I likewise find it undeniably challenging until I was shown these 5 different ways that I share with you today. I just had a discussion with a major companion issues with his funds and furthermore issues with living beneath his means. We talked a tad and it ended up being an issue that I've seen commonly now with others. I showed them a way, which we likewise examine in the video today, with which he figured out how to oversee his funds and take care of the issue. It is incidentally the most serious issue that individuals have when they don't figure out how to live underneath their means. Furthermore, in the event that this specific issue isn't tackled, it turns out to be extremely challenging to accomplish one's monetary objectives. Yet, before we plunge into the theme, hi, and welcome back to our channel. Also, assuming you're new here, we have the money notes. Also, on this channel, we are assisting dedicated individuals with preferring you to get more out of your heart and cash, by telling you the best way to involve your cash in the best manner. Make sure to offer this video a go-ahead toward the end, in the event that you received esteem in return. What's more, presently we should begin now. Before we start with the 5 different ways you can live underneath your means, what does living beneath your means really mean? All in all, actually explicitly it means to spend short of what you procure. What's more, with that, I can as of now end the video. In all seriousness, living underneath your means is basically not living check to check any longer, but rather for what reason do so many generally disapprove of it? Indeed, we'll get to that when we get to the 5 different ways that will tell you the best way to reside beneath your means. Yet for what reason would it be advisable for you to do this in any case? You likely need to accomplish your monetary objectives, anything that they are, correct? Be that as it may, have you at any point contemplated what else it could bring to spend short of what you take ready? It gives you a more pressure-free life, greater adaptability in your vocation. What's more, in the event that it's your objective, accomplishing independence from the rat race also, regardless your objective or goal is, it begins with living beneath your means, overseeing your funds and setting aside cash. What's more, that we are in general at this point. Number 1, track your cash and spending. The primary way is to follow your cash and costs. This is, and should be the initial step to try and see where you stand. Is it true or not that you are living underneath your means, inside your means, over your means? To decide this, you should initially have clearness about what your monetary circumstance really resembles in light of the fact that many misjudge by a long shot what they spend each month. How might you do that? It's simple with the assistance of 3 stages. Step number 1, put your pay and cost in one spot. A considerable lot of you have different financial balances, various MasterCards, where cash is placed in and required out consistently. It's not difficult to forget about your costs and to track down that a couple of bills and all lengthy on your rundown. In this manner, following all your pay and cost in one place is fitting. There are multiple ways of doing this. There are suppliers, for example, Mint, that make your work more straightforward, or you can do it free of charge with your own accounting sheet. If you have any desire to do this a calculation sheet, you ought to watch our next video, which I'm connecting now in the upper right corner. Assuming that it's as of now open, or buy into our channel, so you don't miss the following video where we show you our own following sheet, and afterward additionally make accessible to you to download free of charge, the manner in which you pick. This is your complete pay versus your all-out costs. You can as of now begin arranging your costs, like lease, power, web, everyday costs, and furthermore see what are fixed costs and variable costs. Step number 2, see now the amount of you possess after your costs. Is there any cash left over toward the month's end? Does it add up, or do you pay significantly more than you take in? If it's not too much trouble, remember, regardless of whether it adds up precisely, you may as yet cause problems. That can generally be surprising costs, which incidentally, at the ones that carry the vast majority to monetary ruin and into obligation. Step number 3, track your costs. Presently month to month. The last advance currently is to monitor your costs month to month and remember them for your way that you used to follow. With this you seek after the objective of right off the bat getting an outline of which superfluous costs you can decrease. What's more, furthermore, additionally to stay away from hasty buys. Also, on the off chance that they truly do end up rethinking, in light of the fact that you should at long last remember them for your month-to-month bill. On the off chance that you have done this, you have made the establishment. Also, in the third way, we will keep on managing how you can follow your funds shockingly better and plan for your monetary objectives. Number 2, pay less interest and dispose of obligation. The subsequent way is to pay less interest and dispose of your obligation. That is the greatest bad dream for your pay and monetary circumstance. What's more, it makes it beyond difficult to live beneath your means, which we talked about before truly enjoys a great deal of benefits. The interest you need to pay consistently lessens the pay you get each month, which has the effect among pay and costs lower. Be that as it may, we believe the distinction should be greater, be it an expansion in pay or a decrease in costs. So how might you explicitly dispose of your profundities and decrease the interest? I carried you 3 methods for doing that. Number 1, renegotiate your obligation. At the point when you renegotiate your profundities, you group your current applications and trade them by advance with lower loan fees. So you pay less interest consistently. Once more, there are a few suppliers for this, however your bank can likewise help you. Second 50-50 rule. The 50-50 rule works like this. On the off chance that your pay increments and you get a reward, you don't utilize this cash to spend it totally, yet to utilize half of it to take care of your obligations. For instance, on the off chance that you get a reward at your work of $2,000, you use $1,000 of it for your obligation reimbursement and the others you have at your free removal. The third tip is planning. That brings us right to way 3, make a financial plan. The third way is to make a spending plan. Also, I've proactively made a video about this, which you can now track down at the upper right corner. Yet, as I said in the video, making a spending plan is the main advance to quit living check to check, to acquire monetary security and to arrive at a monetary objectives. Its heft ought to be finished at this point. You've placed your pay and cost where you can monitor them and track them. Before I fail to remember, your pay ought to truly incorporate all pay you have, for instance, youngster backing and expense discounts. In any case, what the goal of monitoring everything? To arrive at your monetary objectives right from the outset, which is the reason it is presently essential to rebuild your spending plan such that you live beneath your means, and can then accomplish a monetary objectives with the cash you save. The most straightforward method for doing this is to make a rate spending plan. You most likely know the 50-30-20 spending plan for half of your pay is for needs, 30% for wants, and 20% for saving and obligation installment. In itself, this dispersion is great, however generally not person, which is the reason I prescribe you to change the rate numbers to your ongoing circumstance and where you need to go. However, I can't assist you with that now overall. So you should plunk down and consider it and work out a financial plan that works for you. Perhaps I'll offer something to that effect from here on out. A course that ganders at you and your circumstance and where you need to go. Also, with which you can then make an unmistakable arrangement with which you can accomplish your monetary objectives. Assuming you might want to follow through with something like that, and you would see an additional incentive for you. If it's not too much trouble, let me know in the remarks with the words, monetary objectives, to provide you with an illustration of how I do my spending plan. I have left the half requirements as they are, yet have 30% for saving and speculation and 20% for my ones. Assuming 30% ventures and reserve funds split again into 10% investment funds and retirement reserve funds, and 20% in my speculation portfolio. Why number 4, cut down your costs. The fourth way you ought to use to live beneath your means is to diminish your costs. What's more, this is currently generally simple after you track your spending and make a financial plan and see everything initially. Whenever you take a gander at your costs, presently ask yourself what are negligible or pointless costs, or ask yourself at a cost. Do I truly require that? There are a few regions where you can set aside cash and diminish costs. A few regions would be participations, vehicle, food, and beverages and garments. There are a couple of additional areas. At the end of the day, it really depends on you. On the off chance that you don't have the foggiest idea what inane or superfluous costs are for you, it assists with deciding your qualities throughout everyday life. Presently, the most serious issue isn't the absence of information or methods that we want to use to find success. The most concerning issue is actually in ourselves and our head and our reasoning. The issue is that we just don't do the right things. However, for what reason do we do that? Indeed, to make sense of that I would most likely need an entire end of the week. However, to keep it short, our inner self attempts to keep us in our usual range of familiarity and shield us from the unexplored world. It is a base nature and furthermore the justification for why we find it challenging to dispose of old examples and take on new ones, as propensities. Quickly watch the video in the center now where I show the 5 parsimonious residing with huge effect that work. Furthermore, if you partook in the video and presently need to find out about how you can work on your funds, look at the video portrayal. They will track down additional recordings and assets to help you, and make sure to hit the like button and buy into the channel. Assuming you're new. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumb up and share with your friend. Thank you for watching.